So today we're going to be making our Desi Pizza. I'll start off by using this pizza crust mix. Now, of course, it's going to be your preference on how thick you want the pizza or how thin you want it. Me personally, I usually like to use just one bag, add a little bit of almond flour, which makes it obviously a bit healthier, and also gives you, I like to make, in fact, with one bag, I like to make 2 pizzas rather than 1. Just add a little bit of almond flour. And that was about probably half of a cup. And then of course on the instructions it says to mix it with half a cup of hot water. And I've already measured it out. It's pre-measured, half a cup. Go ahead and add it. Go ahead and mix it up. We start our mixer, and this is about at speed 2. And of course you can mix the dough by hand as well. I personally like the KitchenAid though. What I'm going to do now is turn it off. We'll add a little bit of oil. What I like to use is avocado oil. Of course, it's going to go in the oven, so you have to be conscious of the heat. You can use canola oil, any other oils. So we'll just add just a teeny tiny bit. And then start it again. It's okay if the dough is a little bit sticky. That just means that it's going to be a bit softer. Okay. Alright, so when I see it sticking at the bottom, it's not going to come off. I personally like to make sure that the dough is coming all together, so I'll add a little bit more almond flour, and I'm adding it a tablespoon at a time just to kind of get the right consistency. You can make the dough the old-fashioned way, adding yeast. This just cuts quite a bit of time for me, especially with the kids when they're hungry. So, and you can also make different kinds of crust. You can make cauliflower crust, you can make it keto-friendly. This obviously has some carbs. You can use different flours. There's times where I've made it only with almond flour. It tastes just as well. Alright. I'm going to add another tablespoon. And along with the mix, I also add some half a cup of regular flour, white flour. So don't get too anxious about adding water or adding oil to this mixture. Just kind of see what the dough is doing, what's coming together. Mentioned, so we had added the pizza crust mix to this mixture. Half of a cup of hot water to start with. I also started with 1/4 of a cup of almond flour. I also added some as I went along, and half of a cup of regular flour. So I don't get into all the deal of adding yeast, and again it takes some extra time, so this helps save quite a bit of time. I added the almond flour because it adds extra flavor, in my opinion. If you like it, it's up to you, it's optional, you don't have to. And it looks like the dough's coming together now. Alright. It's a little sticky, not too bad. You can see the consistency of it. Okay, so take all the dough off of here, whatever I need, and then you get your tray ready, okay? Now this is clean, it's been used quite a bit. So I'm going to transfer that over. Again, I only want half of it, remember, because we're making 2 pizzas. So just kind of guesstimate. Put the other one on the side there. And so what I start off with, I go ahead and start flattening it out. And then start flattening it out here. And rolling it out with a rolling pin. So just kind of work it through with your hands. Just kind of spread it out as you can. If you get a tear in the dough, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You can go ahead and always mend it. Oh, see, I got one here. So I just kind of fill it in. Another one there. And at this point, what you're trying to do is, of course, flatten out the dough. What you're trying to do is flatten out the dough as much as possible. So there's times where I've even made it so thin where you kind of just, it's just a little bit left on the sheet. I know some people, I guess it's a preference, personal preference. You may like a really thick crust. I personally don't. Because I feel like a pizza is not just in the crust, it's a combination of everything. Okay, so we got this in here. Alright. Alright, there is one step that I actually forgot to mention, and it's okay. I'm going to go ahead and add it at this point. So we're going to hold on. Let me get. And of course I put it in this extra jar here. It's the, I'm not sure what you call it in English, but it's the Ajwain. I think it gives an excellent flavor, okay? Just go and sprinkle it on, and you can even knead it back into the dough, okay? So it's not terrible that you forget. But I usually like to put it in the step of when I'm actually making the dough itself. Of course, you want it thinner in the middle, a little thicker on the edges is okay. Just like in pizza shops, you see that extra crust. And spread it out. Okay. While we're doing this, we're going to go ahead and preheat the oven at 425 degrees. Yes. Preheat the oven. And it'll even say it on the pizza crust instructions, so you kind of have to guesstimate it. Every oven is different. The temperatures vary, so I like to keep it right around 420, 425-ish. So what we're going to do is hit bake, increase the temperature here, get it to 420 is good. Start. So it's going to start preheating. Okay, so I have my ingredients here, what I'm going to be adding as far as my pizza toppings. I have a red bell peppers. You can use green. I personally like the red. I think it gives it a different flavor, really nice flavor. I have a green pepper, So if you don't want it spicy, you don't have to. So I usually do either one pizza with it and one without for the kids, or I'll do half of the pizza with it and then the other half if they don't want, of course they don't eat it. I have some garlic, I have some ginger, gives it a nice, let's say Indian or Desi kick to it, cilantro, dhania, and mushrooms. These are already pre-cut, so kind of helps me on time again, okay? So I'm gonna put these on the side, and I'll go ahead and start off cutting my cilantro first. I like to just cut it all up, including the stem. Some people are biased to just the leaves on it. I feel like, hey, it's coming with it. It's gonna have some bit of nutrients, water, not, so I'll go ahead and add it in. And then as I'm cutting it up, I'll go ahead and transfer it into a separate plate so it doesn't kind of get in my way, sort of say. As you can see. Okay. Just gonna chop it up. And of course, it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? Just like you're chopping up your ingredients for like tarkas, you can just roughly chop it up and just save on time. Now the garlic, I just kind of cut it right in half, just so that I don't really chop it up into little pieces, because I think it gives a nice flavor of just having the garlic roasted on top. Now you'll see in a little bit, I also add some garlic when I'm making my sauce. So I don't use, personally, it's just, again, it's personal preference. You can use the red sauce that comes in the store-bought kinds of cans or bottles, right? The Pregos or whatever. I don't use those. I think they're too acidic, in my opinion. So, and of course the peppers, I just chop them up thick, however you want it. It's your choice. I like to have them so that they're in sight, and kind of gives me a warning of, or to my kids or for myself, that hey, there's big old peppers there, I don't want to burn my mouth. So these are typically for my husband. And last but not least is my red bell peppers. Okay, I just cut it in half. I don't always need all of it, so let's see. And you can chop it up to your preference on how big or small, but this is a good size for me. And of course, I know I said half of the bell pepper, so this actually turns out to be quite a bit of ingredients on your pizza, because of course you're gonna add the cheese and everything on there. You can add olives. I'm not choosing to add olives, but this is quite a bit. So I don't even need the other half of the bell pepper. And so this is what it looks like. So first I'm going to start off by turning on the stove. I don't add oil at this point. Again, it's totally optional. You can add some oil, make a little tadka, and so on and so forth. Let's go ahead and so the garlic that I had actually chopped up, I want to roast it a little bit, okay? So let me get over my spatula. So as they get a little brown, that's when I'll know that they're pretty much done. And again, this is actually one of my toppings. So I want to make sure that these are cooked all the way through. And they have a little bit of that roast taste to them. And if you have the, since you already also have the oven on, you can also roast these in the oven. I just don't like to, I can do that sometimes, but I like to do them, just to kind of show you guys what I'm doing here, to show you. And plus, if I put them in the oven, I might have forgotten about them. So just kind of be on a lookout that if you are going to put them in the oven or like a mini oven, that they don't get totally burnt. So. And again, I'm not adding any oil because I feel like when I add the oil, then maybe like the flavor or something comes out again. Because I just want that. See, now I'm finally getting that smell of the garlic. Like finally coming out. So I'm not trying to again saute the garlic. You know, I just want to roast them. Otherwise they soften up. Because the oven, well, pizza kind of cooks. They're gonna do its own thing there. Okay, I'm gonna turn that off. I'm gonna put that back into my plate where it started. Okay, back in here. Turn the heat back on. I'm gonna put it to medium low. Again, I don't add oil because I don't want to keep on adding more and more oil. You can, if you need to. And at this point, I'm going to use heavy whipping cream. Okay, because my pan was quite hot. Go ahead and add that. Turn it on low, and it's fine. It's not gonna really burn. That's just from the garlic there, so not too bad. So it's gonna come to a boil. You can also use like this non-stick pan if you're kind of worried about it burning. So I have it on a low heat, and to this I'm gonna add a little bit more garlic. You want the garlicky taste or that flavor. Throw them in there. So basically I use like a clove. Again, this is totally optional. I like that garlic taste at the top of my pizza. But definitely for the sauce, I want my own homemade sauce. And to this, I'm also going to add some cream cheese. So again, you can make it out of the tomato paste if you'd like. I personally like this sauce. I'm more of a Alfredo type of person. I think it gives it a bit better flavor, taste. So, okay, so what I'm gonna just do is kind of squeeze in half of it, okay? Because again, we're making our own sauce, and it's gonna all come together here. At this point, I also add some Italian seasoning. I think it also gives a really nice flavor. Just kind of sprinkle some in. And again, so I added in like I said, half of the bar of the cream cheese. And the reason why I did that, again, the consistency that I'm trying to go for is more of like a gravy style rather than it all being real liquidy. Let me get a spoon to kind of help me out there. that. It's all coming together. And remember, it's just watch your temperature on the heat. I keep it at a medium. We don't want it too high, because then it will start burning. And as it heats up, you'll notice that my garlic, I was kind of lazy there. I didn't chop it up beforehand, so I just kind of mash them in as they're ready. And they'll flatten out as they kind of cook through. And you'll notice you don't have to add in salt or anything here. I feel like all the ingredients, like for example the cheese, they already has enough salt in it. So you don't really need any salt, added salt. Again, it's up to you, totally up to you. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn down the heat, because it's giving me the right consistency here. I'm gonna mix it up, and at this point, now I'm going to go ahead and the dough that I had flattened out on my pizza sheet, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the oven because I want to pre-cook it. Okay, I don't want to. I'm not ready for it to add all the toppings just yet. I want to go ahead and pre-cook it just a little bit. Okay, so you can see it's been about 5 to 7 minutes there. Oh, and another sign is that it's not totally brown, it's bubbling a little bit so that it's ready to come out. Okay. As you can see, it's not sticking to the bottom a little bit. So in that case, I'm gonna go ahead and take my spoon or a spatula. Just gonna make sure, because then if we don't do this process now, this is just going to be tougher for us later when we're actually trying to pick up the pizza. Okay, and just be careful, it is a little hot. So just kind of move that around. This is that if you just want to have some garlic bread, like a cheesy garlic bread, this is pretty much ready to go. All you'll do at this point is add some boiled butter and garlic, a little bit of cheese, and that's it. And you'll have yourself a cheesy garlic bread. Okay, and there you go. It's all done. Okay, so again, I can easily just kind of move it around my sheet. Just kind of show you here. I'm gonna hold my but yeah, I can easily move this around so it's not sticking to the bottom, and once the pizza actually cooks through, it's not going to stick to the bottom, so it's perfect. Okay, now at this point, okay, so I'm gonna remember my sauce that I made. It's gonna thicken up as it kind of cools off, so it's ready to go. So I just take a little bit, put it in the middle, and just kind of spread it around. Okay, I'm gonna take this. You don't need a whole lot. It's okay that it's kind of dried up, because again, you don't want it to be wet, otherwise you'll have like a wet pizza, I guess you can say. So you want the ingredients to kind of stick to your pizza. It's okay to get a little messy there. But as you make this, you'll realize and you actually see that it actually smells really good. So it may not be as appealing just yet, but it actually smells really, really good. Because remember, I had roasted that garlic, and even in my sauce I had put some more garlic. So you're kind of just spreading this again, like you're spreading butter basically, right? Butter on the toast, or jelly on some bread. There you go. So it's kind of, there you go. That's all you need. So now I'm gonna go ahead and add my ingredients, okay? It's up to you if you also want to mix it all together at first, or if you want to just kind of do it separately. So here we go. Spread it out. Oh, also, as you noticed, I'm gonna add my toppings first before I add the cheese. This way, it kind of all just sticks, in my opinion. I think it just does a better job cooking itself through. So, got that. Got my roasted garlics here. A little bit of cilantro. I'll go and add this now, and then I'm going to save some for the final touch as well, okay? So the rest of this, actually let me go and add more peppers here on the side. And the second pizza that I make, I'm going to go ahead and fill it up on the other half. So we'll just make half and half. And again, this is what it looks like. And the good touch here, before we go any further, that extra Desi kick, I guess you can sort of say, I am adding some Tandoori Masala. It's gonna give that extra punch. Just gonna drizzle that over it. And of course, if you have like leftover chicken, leftover tandoori chicken, it's already gonna have that flavor, so it's totally optional. I also like to add paprika. It's not spicy, it just gives a good taste. Drizzle that on top. And I know we added ginger, but I'm gonna go ahead and also add some of the powdered ginger. I feel like it gives it a different, more of a stronger taste. So I say not a lot, you know, you don't want to add too much. Now I'm ready to add my cheese. So I usually get the shredded mozzarella cheese, the thick one. Don't get the smaller one, the thinner, or the, how do I say it, the smaller shredded version, because it's going to burn quicker. So you want the thick cheese, okay? Also, if you have a Sam's Club, they have the big old bags of cheese. So we like to keep that in the freezer. Okay. So now I'm ready to just go ahead and add on the cheese. Again, it's a personal preference of how much cheese you like. I like to have about a good 3 handfuls. Just kind of spread it out. Of course, as it melts, it's going to spread out as well. Look at that, it's all coming together, guys. Okay. And it's ready to go in the oven. Okay, and there you go. Right now it's 5:16. So I like to personally check it every 10 minutes just to make sure how well it's cooking. Alright guys, so as you can see it's 5:31. I've had it in the oven for about 13-14 minutes or so. And it looks pretty ready. If you also notice, I actually had forgotten to put the mushrooms on. So as it was cooking through halfway, I went ahead and added the mushrooms. Okay, so our pizza is pretty ready, and the way you can tell it's ready, obviously the outer edge is pretty golden-y, crispy, and then also my cheese. I try to look for brown spots as it starts browning because you don't want it too burnt, really. So this looks pretty ready. I'm ready to go. To garnish it, you can add some cilantro at the very end if you want to. Totally optional. If you don't want that, it's not that crucial. I'm just going to garnish it a little bit. And it looks pretty ready. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to let it cool down just for a few more minutes before I cut it, because you don't want to cut a hot pizza. The cheese will start moving around. So. Okay, so it's been a few minutes, and I'm ready to cut this pizza. All right. Make sure it's cut all the way through and turn it a little. There we go. You can even hear the crispiness of the crust. Again, I don't like it soggy, like a soggy crust. This way I know it's cooked all the way through, so that's why I pre-cooked it at the beginning. So let's see which one do I want to start off with. Ooh, look at that, guys. And your pizza's ready. All right. You'll have some pieces at the bottom that might, part of the crust. Totally fine. It was when it was kind of bubbling up, right? Alright, thank you for watching this video on how to make Desi Pizza. I really appreciate your time, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you. Bye.